Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Valerie Leonard. I am the host of Nonprofit Utopia. I am also the founder of Nonprofit Utopia LLC. I want to say welcome again and thank you so much for joining us. We want to talk about what the Nonprofit Utopia community is. From time to time, you'll hear me talking about it, but it occurred to me that many people may not know exactly what Nonprofit Utopia is, what we do, and how it can benefit them. And that's really the most important thing. How can Nonprofit Utopia benefit you? So we're here today to give you a walkthrough the Nonprofit Utopia community. And hopefully, if you have any questions, you can post your questions in the chat room. And if you feel so moved to join, you can join us at nonprofitutopia.mn.co. That's our membership site. So we're going to jump right in and talk about who we are. Again, we're Nonprofit Utopia. We're the ideal community for emerging nonprofit leaders. And we have created a safe environment in which our members can communicate, share all the things that they're going through on a day-to-day basis and share resources as well as other questions and concerns that they may have. So to give you a little bit of information about me, I promise I won't read all of this, but I've got over 20 years of experience in nonprofit. I've also got experience in the public sector as well as the corporate sector. I've done about $100 million in proposals, and that would be in terms of grant writing, packaging, federal grant contract proposals, as well as providing technical assistance. I am currently on staff at the University of Illinois at Chicago in their Certificate in Nonprofit Management program. And I teach there a number of courses, including strategic management and operations management. I am also on staff at Roosevelt University in their Heller College of Business, working with young people who want to do social ventures. And I've helped about 750 people in my professional career working with nonprofits, and that's just in terms of coaching, consulting, and teaching. And then I've also worked with about $100 million again in financing. Got an undergrad degree from Spelman College and a graduate degree in marketing and finance from Northwestern. So our mission is to develop the next generation of ethical nonprofit leaders, and we do this by providing ongoing professional development. We have a number of webinars and in-person opportunities for people to do meetups. We also connect online through webinars like this and other training opportunities. And our vision is to strengthen the global nonprofit sector by providing training and development opportunities to 50,000 people around the globe throughout the world. By 2033, so far we have at least 2 international members, and we hope to increase our international presence. And the way I got started, I have worked for a number of years in nonprofits, and I guess there is no perfect anything, unfortunately, no perfect environment. But if there could be a perfect environment, what would that look like? I thought that it would look like utopia. And I got the inspiration from a Western Civ class I had at Spelman College, where we talked about Sir Thomas More. And Thomas More wrote Utopia. He spoke about the ideal society in which everyone pulled his or her weight and worked for the benefit of society. And that got me to thinking, exactly, what would a perfect society look like if all the nonprofits did what they were supposed to do and they had a place to go to get all the information that they would want to have. So I thought about Nonprofit Utopia. And in so doing, I thought about what the core values would be. So every member has value and has something to contribute to the overall well being of the community. And there's mutual respect between rank and file members, group facilitators, and the host. Our members' voices matter and will influence every aspect of the growth and development of the nonprofit Utopia community. In fact, a number of the programs that we have developed have been co-developed or developed as a result of suggestions from our members. We comport ourselves with integrity in everything we say and do. And when I talk about integrity, that means, we want to aspire to walk the walk that we talk, right? We want to be the same, regardless of what environment we're in. And we're accountable for our actions and the words we say, and we govern ourselves accordingly. We strive for excellence, not perfection, but excellence. And this is reflected in the quality of our interactions and the content we share. And ideally, we want to create a situation where there's reciprocity. So not only is the community giving our members information, but we want to make sure that we create a safe environment for our members to share their opinions, our members to share articles and resources and videos that they have seen over time that might help the whole community. And we realize that in order to maximize the value, we have to have this exchange or reciprocity. And we believe that over time, the knowledge we share and receive in this forum will ultimately help us to be more innovative in our approaches and to create a greater impact on our clients, on our communities, on our organizations, and the nonprofit sector. So, what is it that we do? We do a lot of stuff, as you'll see, and we have at our disposal in our community assessment tools that our members can download. So there is an assessment tool on leadership. So our members can assess their leadership styles within their individual environments. They can also assess their organizations on 7 different areas. So this is organizational capacity in areas such as financial management, such as human resources, etc. We can also assess our ability to start a social enterprise and assess our readiness for federal grants. We also do document review because, from time to time, people would want a second set of eyes on a document that they're working on. And this list that we have here is typical of what we might review. It's not limited to, it's not necessarily limited to these things, but these are typical. We will from time to time review grant proposals, applications for tax exempt status. We'll also look at ad copy and collateral materials. We'll review your case for support. And in fact, we have a number of resources that will help you in addition to our review, but help you to develop this on your own. We'll also help you to put policies and procedures in place. And we do have some sample documents that you might want to look at. We will also review your budgets, and this could be for your organization, it could be for a proposal, it could be for a business plan. And for those of us who are interested in policy and advocacy, from time to time, we might have to give public testimony in front of a public body. We'd be more than happy to review those and share from our own experiences in providing public testimony, help you develop strategy as well. And we'll also review press releases. Again, this is not the exhaustive list. And there are also a number of tools that we share with you, and you might want to use these to strengthen your business plans, and we can review these as well. So this would include things like your business plan canvas, your value proposition canvas, board policies and procedures that you're thinking about updating, your personnel policies and procedures that you're thinking about updating. And we can also put you in touch with other resources that can help you in the event that you need legal advice to review your documents. And that's for the state of Illinois. We're based in Chicago, so we do have resources in the state of Illinois that might provide some legal counsel as you prepare some of these documents. We also will help you review your SWOT analysis and your program logic models. In fact, we have templates for both of those types of documents. So here are a few pictures from some of the events that we've had. We have partnered with the Census Bureau to provide people an overview of the census, and we did this in conjunction with the University of Chicago, their Polsky Center. And we're actually going to have the Census Bureau come back and do a webinar for our members to help them navigate census.gov, be abreast of the latest development, and also to develop their own unique data sets. And we also worked with Providence Bank back in, I believe it was May, to develop a memo to the mayor. And this is a snapshot of that group brainstorming process. We had another seminar not a seminar, we had a panel discussion at 1871, which if you're in Chicago, you may be familiar with it. That is a technology hub. We spoke about technology and what nonprofits can do to not only create their technology plans, but to implement them as well. And this picture right below it, that is a picture from our kickoff. We had another event with University of Illinois at Chicago where we gave an overview of their certificate in nonprofit management program. And the picture to the far right is a picture from our meetup where we talked about how we could do the blues, incorporate the blues in nonprofit management. We have a number of newsletters for our members. And, basically these newsletters are to keep our members abreast of what's going on in the community. We have evidence-based emerging leadership coaching. So for an additional fee, we will work with our members to coach them through a process over a period of time. This could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. And we start off by providing a leadership assessment and an organizational assessment. And based on the results of those two assessments, we help them to prioritize what they'd like to do first, develop a set of goals and objectives. And then from there, we can either, depending on how long this engagement will be, we will provide them with core content of a number of webinars that we have, webinars and other presentations that we have on starting your nonprofit, on establishing a board of directors, doing strategic planning, making sure you remain in compliance with the IRS and your state, local agencies, marketing, and that kind of stuff. That would be our core content. And then we have other content that we can either develop or share from others that will help them get to the meat of their particular issue. And then we also develop individualized work plans where they have their goals and objectives, and then they're also developing a set of activities, and we will actually develop benchmarks and make sure that there's accountability on the coach's part as well as on the client's part to make sure that we are winning, creating win-win situations for all who are concerned. So we track those outcomes and we have the evidence to show whether or not this is working or whether it's not working. And you can find out more about that on our website, and you can just go to nonprofitutopia.com and check onto the link that focuses on this evidence-based coaching. We also have a weekly podcast, and that's an extension of our community. We try to share with our audience thought leaders from around the country, and increasingly, we're going to be more intentional about attracting people from around the world to share some of their experiences. And these would be people that we wouldn't normally have an opportunity to speak with because they're so busy, but we're trying to focus on people who are thought leaders who can share the lessons that they've learned along the way so that we can avoid those same issues. Whatever problems we have, hopefully they won't be the same ones that our thought leaders have had. Hopefully we can learn from their mistakes. So the topics could be anything in nonprofit management. It can also be some of the lessons that they've learned specific to their organizations. And the good thing about the podcast is the lessons that are shared are lessons that we can immediately begin to apply to our own environments. So our podcast is downloaded in 90 countries around the world, and we've done over 18,000 downloads so far, closer to 19,000. We have 132 episodes, and we have interviewed over 125 thought leaders on this show. And so far, we've had one international guest and two in the works, and there are more that we've targeted that we plan to invite in the near future. So this slide talks about, or it shares some of the webinars that we've had already. We have had a webinar that was co-developed by one of our members, Carol Hill, Philanthropy 101. And that webinar focuses on how you can create a culture of philanthropy, not just for your development people, but how does everyone in the whole organization take responsibility for fundraising. We talked about remapping and how that's going to impact nonprofits as well as our communities and how nonprofits can get involved. We talked about the redistricting process, and the legal implications of redistricting. We talked about how to write a compelling case for support and how you can also create a unique value proposition in ways that you can tighten up your business model. Now, these were targeted for social enterprises, but anybody in nonprofit management knows how important it is to have a unique value proposition that you can sell to your funders and how that can differentiate you from other nonprofits. And if you want to go into a social enterprise, or even just tightening up your own service delivery model, is always helpful to look at your business model and how you can tighten it. So we did do a webinar on that. And those were just samples. If you go to our Crowdcast page, you will see a list of all of our past webinars, and they're available on demand. And you'll also see upcoming webinars. Most of them are free. Some of them do have have a fee associated with them. Almost all of them have downloads and workbooks that you can download at any point. And once you purchase them, you can have access, forever access to the webinars. And the good thing for our members is these webinars are free to our members, even if there is a charge associated with the webinar. So this page is the front page of our private community. And this is basically sharing with you some of the tools that are available to you. So if you look on the top row where it says welcome, um, these resources are for new members. They're used to help orient our new members. We have the rules and regulations of how this community should work, and we police ourselves, and everyone has been very, very respectful and very good about following the guidelines. We have articles to show you how we came about. We have articles that show you how you can go about being one of our ambassadors and take advantage of that program. And then that second row is just some of the latest resources that have been uploaded and the ones that we have featured. We have courses that our members can take advantage of. So far, we have 3 courses that our members can take advantage of, and that includes building a sustainable organization. And that course shares with you all of the things that a sustainable organization should have in place, all of the processes that they should have in place. There's also an assessment tool, and there is a workbook that will help you to develop your own work plan so that you can, compare your best practices with these best practices that all organizations should have in place, and then set up a plan as to how you can strengthen those processes that you have or incorporate them if you don't have them. We also have a webinar and workbook on how to demonstrate the need for services in a crowded field, because if you live in an urban area and if you live in a community like the one I'm from, we have well over 140 organizations. And these are just the registered nonprofit organizations within a 2 square mile radius. And it's very hard to differentiate yourself and even compel people that there is a need for yet a new service or program. And we show you how to do that, to show that there is a need even in those areas that seem like they're over-resourced. And then we also have 23 questions that you need to answer before starting a nonprofit initiative. So that could be a nonprofit organization. It could be spinning off from an existing organization. It could be a new program. It could be a new service. It could be a new strategic plan. So regardless of what the initiative is, there are 23 questions that you need to answer before you start. And these questions, combined with the strategies that we give you to differentiate yourself in a crowded field, these can be used as a basis for your needs assessment. And ideally, you should do your needs assessment, prior to doing your Form 1023 for a new organization, or before writing a proposal. All too often, we find ourselves trying to raise money without having fully thought through whether or not there's a need for our program or service in our community, or whether or not we've even quantified that need. And this slide is an overview of what our impact has been for the past year. We incorporated back in, or created our LLC back in March of 2018. We formally launched in June 2018, and this is a summary of the impact in the past year or so. So when this was created, we had 34 members. We're up to, I believe, about 37, but we had 34 members. And we have members from 5 states, members from 2 countries, so United States and Bangladesh. And we're trying to make sure that we broaden our international impact. So we're being more intentional about recruiting in other countries. We have 795 newsletter subscribers. We've had 20 members actually take at least one of our courses. We've had 9 live events and meetups, so that's events in the flesh. And we've had over 300 people actually participating in those events. We've had 12 webinars or Facebook Live events, and over 600 people actually participating in those events. We've had almost 19,000 podcast downloads in 90 countries, and we've got about 132 episodes and counting. And again, 125 plus thought leaders interviewed, and we've had podcast guests from one other country, and there are 2 other countries in the works, so including the United States, that would be guests from 4 countries and counting. So we invite you to join now. You can join us. Our community website is nonprofitutopia.mn.co, and you can go and find out more about us. Our monthly rates for individuals are $14.99 a month, and I can tell you the quality of the content that you get, the time that we spent or spend with our members is worth way more than $14.99 a month. My hourly rate is $150 per hour. And at $14.99 a month, you just can't beat the value. We've got $179.99 a year for individuals. And what you'll get for that, you'll get free access to every course that we have. We have 3 courses, and I'm in the process of building out more, so I'll be uploading more courses to this. So far, we've got building sustainable organizations. We have how to demonstrate need for services and 23 questions you need to answer. Every one of these courses has video. Every one of these courses has handouts as well as a workbook, so you can really think through your process of developing needs assessments and then identifying those processes that you need in place to create a sustainable organization. So the benefits to being a member, first of all, the most important thing is you can strengthen your leadership skills at the same time while learning to build a sustainable organization. We have several hundreds of years worth of experience. When you look at the experience of all of our members, we've got a very diverse group of members who've been there, done that, and we're trying to increase membership amongst our younger leaders so that there is a genuine cross-pollination of ideas between our younger nonprofit professionals and our more seasoned nonprofit professionals. You can provide input into the development of the content. We have a number of webinars and courses that were developed as a result of suggestions of our members. And in fact, some of them are actually leading the workshops. They're leading the webinars. They're leading the meetups. You can participate in high quality networking events as well as cost-effective learning solutions. You can get answers to your burning questions from people who've been there, done that, and even people who aren't as experienced may bring a fresh perspective that those of us who have been around a while may not have considered. We have very candid discussions in a very safe environment, and you can strengthen your brand over time by becoming very active in the community, sharing your thoughts on the content that's provided, leading some of the discussions, sharing the contents. And over time, people begin to associate you with the content that you provide, the comments that you make, and you begin to position yourself as a thought leader in the industry and as well as among your colleagues. And then people begin to come to you for advice. They begin to come to you for new ideas. They come to you to provide input on some of the initiatives. And hopefully over time, they'll come to you with new job opportunities as well. So for our groups, we're starting to offer group rates for groups of up to 10 or more. And you can create a group within the community. So you'll be able to take advantage of everything that the community has to offer, but at the same time be able to retreat to your own personal space that focuses on those issues that are germane to your group, and it will be your members only section. And this is really, really helpful, especially for those organizations that are just starting out. If you're just starting a new initiative, you can do some of the planning in a very safe space online. So if you're interested, you can email info@nonprofitutopia.com. The group rates for groups of 10 or more are $9.99 a month, so roughly $10 a month, and roughly $100 a year. So that's a significant, that's a 40% discount off of our normal rates. So that concludes the presentation, and I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. If you have any questions, feel free to post here in the chat room. And I know a number of you are watching on Facebook Live. I'm not going to be able to respond to you on air if you're posting on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, because I can't really see what your comments are. But if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave your comments and questions on those pages, and I will get back to you just as soon as I can. And if you are here in Crowdcast, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please feel free to share at this time. As I said before, our chat room is open. Okay, so I will wait just a few minutes more. And at this point, it doesn't seem like there are any questions or comments. I want to say thank you so much for joining, and I'm hoping that you can join our community and that we can have live chats and all that good stuff in the Nonprofit Utopia community. Again, if you want to join us, you can go to nonprofitutopia.mn.co. If you want to go to our public website and find out more, you can go to nonprofitutopia.com. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and you take care. Bye-bye.